Last time on Improv Tabletop, Troop 4x2 continued their investigation to the strange disappearances that were happening at the preparations for the campfire ceremony, which included a whole bunch of productions of a whole bunch of Shakespeare shows. As they continued to search for different clues, they bribed a whole bunch of teenagers with knives and weapons, etc., etc. They did some research into the history of how Shakespeare found the ritual, the witch's ritual, that he put into Macbeth, and discovered that he had apparently stolen it from some witches who were not very happy that he had broken the pact that he had made with them, as evidenced by the letter that they received from Shakespeare. And after putting all of their brains together, they put together a theory that the creatures were in fact the three witches from Macbeth, that their goal was to erase all of Shakespeare's works as revenge for including that ritual in his play and making it available to everybody in the world, and that they would be able to deal with the witches through some diplomacy. So they went to the commissary, where Scoops helped them get all of the potion ingredients they needed to cook some good soup, some good soup, to summon these witches. And summon the witches they did, and they treated with them in iambic pentameter, but unfortunately we discovered that diplomacy is not an option with these witches, and we left off with the witches threatening to tear their flesh from their frightened bones. And that's where we're going to pick up in the middle of this fight. What's going to happen next? Let's find out here in the world of the Tension Builders. What's shaking, everybody? You're listening to Improv Tabletop, The Tension Builders, the bump in the dark actual play where we're making up everything on the spot. I'm Ned Wilcock, your host and GM, and today I'm joined by...
Caleb Anderton, improv actor ordinaire.
Christian Randall, ready to ring some witches' bells.
And Evan Peterson, ready to punch some witches in the face.
It's the same thing when you get down to it, really.
One's a little more poetic, I guess, Shakespearean, if you will.
Yeah, one does actually feed into what we discovered after we finished that episode, actually feeds into a little bit of folklore about witches and bells, apparently.
I've been telling you from the beginning.
It's a thing.
But why? How did you know that?
Was that a thing like when you were living in Ukraine?
It's just common knowledge, I'm afraid.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I definitely knew it. All of us definitely had common knowledge of it. Okay, well, to set the scene, we have this roiling tempest, this fog and filthy air that the witches are hovering through, kind of this strange cyclone of clouds, this smoke that is coming from the borscht turned blood that is bubbling in the cauldron. And the witches are getting ready to fight you guys. In fact, I believe because we got such a poor diplomacy roll at the very end of our last episode, I am going to need everybody to make a resistance roll, as the witches, they kind of bared their full malice towards you. And you can see where before it was kind of just like, oh yeah, that's sort of spirit Halloween witch kind of look they got. Now they have revealed more of their true, like, primal hag sort of forms to you. And it's a lot more troubling than you'd kind of expected. So yeah, everybody, we're going to make some resistance rolls. You tell me how you're going to attempt to resist, and I will tell you which attribute applies. And then you make the roll with however many dots you have in that attribute. And then, based on your degree of success, that's going to tell you how much luck you're going to need to mark.
Okay.
Let's start with Oleg. You are closest to the witches and this pot here, I reckon. How are you going to try and avoid getting scared out of your pants?
I'm going to pop my head off. I'm going to put on my serious face.
All right.
my truly serious face. I'm going to switch out my head for my serious face.
You're Mr. Potato Head in it.
I'm Lego Manning it.
You're putting in your angry eyes. It's the same theory.
I am putting my angry eyes. It's the same. Yeah, you're right.
All right. Now, remember how you have that wound where you're real hopped up on motivational energy? I think it's going to be a little bit more difficult for you to think rationally, even if you do have your serious head on.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to get you reduced impact on this attempt. I think that probably is going to be with your mind, as you're trying to just kind of like steel yourself. I'll say either mind or heart, which are both equal for you. But yeah, so go ahead and roll 2d6, and then we're going to get reduced impact on whatever it is that you roll.
Can I increase that impact by making it riskier?
Oh, you want to go for broke?
I want to go for broke. Is that possible to do with the resistance roll?
With a resistance roll, you know what? I will say if you do manage to get a full success, then you will get full impact. But if you get a partial success, it'll be at regular impact. And if you get a full failure, it's going to be even worse than it would be otherwise.
I'm going for broke.
Do it.
Okay, go ahead and mark hope for that, as always.
Roll a 2d6, and I'm going to use my mind because I'm a very cerebral Lego man.
All right, and would you like to make a deal with the darkness or push yourself by any chance?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just feel like Ned is pulling the strings of a marionette, just like...
And I'm dancing, baby. I'm dancing.
He's like, before Christian even rolls, I'll just ask because I know he'll say yes if I do.
Well, I'm just trying to be helpful here because I feel like he's probably going to want an extra d6 on this roll.
It's fair.
All right, what's my bargain with the darkness?
Yeah, your deal with the darkness, you can get an extra d6 if the bell is cracked. The bell outside the front of the lodge.
No.
Don't you do that. Don't you do that to me.
I trust in the heart of the dice.
All right.
Oh.
It's going to be 3d6.
So let me change all my plans.
Wait. So that happens no matter what. Like, the bell is cracked even if I fully succeed.
Correct.
Oh. We're master builders. We can fix it. I'm gonna roll 3d6.
Yep, go for it.
Can we fix it?
Wow. That is marvelous. All 3 dice are the same number.
Okay, I'm guessing a 3.
You are 100% correct.
Oh, nice. Cool.
Wow.
That is not good.
So, on a 1 to 3 on a resistance roll, you mark 4 luck. Since you went for broke, you're going to mark 5 luck.
5 luck.
Dang.
Wow.
Spent.
I have 3 luck left.
Critical mediocrity.
Yeah.
Yeah, I go to switch on my serious face, and instead I accidentally switch on my very scared face. You know, they're right next to each other on my tool belt, so.
Yeah, serious and scared, they're just very alphabetically close to each other.
Yeah.
And you didn't grab one before you took off the first, so then all of a sudden you were like, oh no, and then you were groping around just trying to grab it.
Yeah, I was like, oh no, this is my terrified face.
All right, so Oleg is terrified. Master Brickithon, how do you think you resist these witches?
Goodness. I'm going to go into my mind palace. I'm assuming that Master Brickithon has something like that, and I'm just going to try to brain my way out of their evil influence.
All right, sort of trying to retreat away from the terror you see in front of you,
Yeah.
back into a place that is more secure within your mind. Okay, I reckon that would be a mind roll,
I would say so.
and you have 3 dots in mind.
All right. That is a 4, a 2, and a 3.
All right, so on a partial success, you mark 2 luck.
All right. I am down to only 2 luck left.
Ooh,
How did you get so...
wow.
I marked a lot of luck for something earlier. I don't remember what, but I did.
Yeah, he's been helping people out a lot, is the thing.
That's true.
Yeah.
And then we got Pilfer over here, who has marked no luck yet.
Guess it's all up to me.
How are you going to resist against the fear of these witches?
I'm gonna distract myself by doing a bunch of push-ups. Just like I can't worry about them if I'm worried about myself, you know?
I love it.
Fear is the mind killer.
Put hurt into the body to avoid the hurt of the heart. Okay, so you do have 3 dots in body. Go ahead and roll those.
Huh. So
Scary witches.
Why are we all so bad?
you were nice about after you see the result being able to push yourself, right?
I'm okay with that, yes. I suppose, Caleb, if you're interested in that as well, you may.
That's okay. I'll take it.
Pushing yourself is it's a couple luck, right?
It costs 2 luck, which if you got a partial success, it costs you 2 luck. If you got a full failure, it's going to cost you 4, in which case you might want to push your luck.
Might as well try it then.
Oh, great.
I got a 2, a 1, and a 2.
Ooh.
So
Yeah, we got some terrible rolls going on tonight.
yeah, so let me roll one more dice. 5.
There we
Okay.
go.
Ooh, that's better.
Partial success. Okay, so you're going to mark 2 luck from this resistance roll, in addition to the 2 luck that
Oh
you
wait, so that's
spent.
exactly the same.
Wait, what?
Would you like to make that into a deal with the darkness instead, perhaps?
This game is rigged. I demand a recount. No, I'll take my 4. It's fine. At least I did it by succeeding partially instead of by failing.
There we go.
I would rather take 4 luck from pushing myself to succeed than from sitting back and failing.
There we go. That's the kind of person that Pilfer is. Well, with all of our very unlucky folks that we got here tonight, now that the witches have made their full appearance, really just kind of revealed the true malice that they hold for you, you guys get to do whatever you want. So, how would you like to stop these witches?
Well, somebody broke the bell.
Yeah, I feel bad about that.
So my plan is out the window.
My plan is to fix the bell.
Okay, so you're just like see the witches, scared face on, go running out of the commissary towards the front of the lodge.
In fact, I do the full Lego. I jump, and my head, my body, and my legs, all 3 go click, 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 and then click back together. But they're turned 180 degrees, and I just run out the door.
Okay,
Nice.
Yeah, Scoops sees you disappear and then turns and looks up at the 3 witches and just kind of like melts into a puddle of molten plastic for a moment. But yeah, you go rushing out to find the bell. You see there's a big crack in the side of it. To try and fix this thing, that sounds like rig to me, I would imagine.
Classic. And of course, it's going to be a struggle because this is the Liberty Bell from the Liberty Bell set.
Ah.
So the crack is traditional.
You're actually ruining history. You're defacing a national artifact.
It's Lego World. We got to do what we got to do. So I will roll 2d6, and if I push myself, I don't die because I will mark 2 luck.
Yeah, you've still got some luck left to spend if you want to push yourself.
Because of your unending generosity, I will wait until after I roll to see if I need to do that.
Okay, I would agree with that.
Which I don't need to do because I rolled a 6.
There we go.
Nice.
Finally, some good luck.
A good roll.
So, what does patching up the Liberty Bell look like? Oh, Davy Crockett.
I pull out my little wristwatch, and with my little claw hand, I beep, 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 and I look up bell schematics, and I rush around, and I pull off a bunch of 1x2 bricks, and I take them from like a tree that's yellowing from the fall colors, and it matches the yellow of the bell perfectly, and I repair the bell crack right up the middle of it.
All right. And just like that, one of the most iconic pieces of United States memorabilia is functional. So there you go. So we have got this completely fixed bell. Because you got a full success on fixing the Liberty Bell, that means you are 2 ticks closer on this clock to defeating the witches. So that means we are at 3 out of 8 ticks on this 8 clock.
Ned, this might not be how this is supposed to be used. So, I'll just see how you react. I'd like to aim my pistol at the bell
Okay.
to ring it with a bullet.
Ooh.
And as I'm about to pull the trigger, can I use my That's So Pilfer ability to have a vision about what might happen in the next few moments?
Interesting.
That's so Pilfer. I forgot about that already.
All right, so in order to activate your monstrous abilities, you push your luck first, so you spend 2 luck,
Oh, it does take 2.
and then you make a choice between whether you lose control, you suffer a condition, or I take a string on you. But you do get the effect.
See, it felt almost too powerful, but I see now.
Yes, it is a bit of a deal with the darkness in and of itself.
Come on.
Well, this isn't the time then. I just wanted to know if ringing the bell would do anything.
What do you mean this isn't the time?
Well, because then if it wasn't
it.
going to do anything, I could just not shoot the gun and keep my action, and not have to roll.
You gotta do it now. Just do it.
do it and you're cool.
Okay, but I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't want. I peer pressure works on me, but I will not. There are no strings on me. I will never take a string. I'm not giving Ned that power over me.
All right.
I'm taking every string I can. I will dance for the puppet master.
What were the other 2 options?
The other 2 options are to suffer a condition or to lose control.
I'll suffer a condition, I guess.
Okay, we'll go through what you see first, and then based off of how you feel like Pilfer is going to respond to that, then we'll determine which condition that's going to be. So, you receive a vision about something that is about to happen in the next few moments. You can mark an additional luck to stretch this vision to the next few minutes. These events may or may not come to pass depending on your actions. So, The thing that you see happening within the next few moments is the witches looking down at the puddle of melted scoops are going to try and scoop him up and put him into the cauldron along with the soup.
Okay.
How do you feel like Pilfer is going to respond to that? Is he exhausted? Is he void touched? Is he afraid?
Pilfer's never afraid.
Yeah. He might be void touched, which I don't love the idea of how to clear that, but it feels very appropriate.
Yeah. So the way that conditions work in this game, there's a condition attached to each of our 3 attributes, body, heart, and mind. And as long as you have a condition in that attribute, you have -1 die to all rolls made with that attribute.
Wow.
Then there is a specific narrative thing you do to clear each of those conditions, the one for heart being to act in the interest of the void.
Ooh.
But I will not act in the interest of the void right now because they're going for scoops, and I can't have that.
Yes. And I guess kind of the original question you had about will it be effective to ring the bell, I think the best determinant of whether it's going to be effective is how well you roll to shoot the bell.
Makes sense to me.
So we're in the commissary, right? There's going to be other pots and pans and bowls and stuff around.
Absolutely.
And Scoops is a puddle.
Yep.
Are you gonna put Scoops in a pot?
I, after aiming at the bell, look over after I have my vision. Whoosh, that's so Raven zooms out of my eye. I look back over, holster the gun in my legs, and I'd like to grab the nearest pot and sprint and try and scrape it along the ground as I pass by the Scoops puddle.
All right.
Like scoop him up and put a lid on it, so I've got Scoops in a bucket.
All right. That sounds like a scramble to me, I reckon.
Okay, so I got a single die.
You got
That
it.
is 1d6, unless you want to push your luck or make a deal with the darkness.
I can't afford to, but I can't afford not to based on what I just rolled.
You can always make a deal with the darkness.
No, you know, the thing I've learned playing some of these other systems is, you know, that I need to remember from D&D is that sometimes you just fail. It's not always worth rending yourself into just to try and get a victory. I rolled a 1. My plan didn't work.
Ooh boy.
It's hard to scrape up a puddle of a man off the ground while running by.
Yeah, I think rather than picking up scoops, you slip in scoops.
Oh, gross.
Yeah, and so you start smearing like across the ground, like you're running towards him, and you step in him, and both of you, like, you are pulling scoops behind you now, kind of like he's like taffy consistency almost.
He's not even bricks anymore.
He's melted plastic, so you slip and you are on your back going down one of the long aisles with shelves on both sides, and you're kind of like pulling scoops along behind you, and you slam into the far wall, and then scoops kind of like rubber bands after you and completely wraps around your head, so you are temporarily blinded until you can get scoops off of you.
You know what? That fits perfectly with what I was going to say I was going to do in reaction, which is I'm still going to do it. I want to put the pot over my own head in shame.
All right.
I still got scoops in the bucket in a way.
That is true. So, Master Brickithon, both of your proteges have disappeared from your sight in various ways. What are you thinking?
I've got these witches right in front of me. We're in a commissary. I'm grabbing some salt, and I'm chucking all the salt I can at them.
There we go.
Now that is common knowledge.
Yeah, that's so much smarter than anything I did.
Yes.
All right. And I think you're doing something with precision, tossing
Yeah.
the sand. I think that might be hunt.
Yeah, I'll take it.
You got 2 dots in hunt.
A 3 and a 5.
Okay,
Hey.
partial success. So we're going to mark off another tick. We're at 4 out of 8. We are halfway through this 8 clock of containing the witches. You throw the salt towards them, and it scalds across their skin. You get like this big, coarse rock salt,
yeah.
and toss it towards them, and you see everywhere one of the grains of sand lands, the plastic of their bodies starts to bubble and hiss and melt away. They are very, very displeased about that
I like it.
and are ready to turn their complete ire onto you as a result of that.
I don't like it.
They start swirling all together once more, and they pick up with their kind of like tornado of fog and filthy air, like pick up the cauldron, and it's now kind of floating towards you, and they're getting ready to bonk you with this big ol' heavy cauldron. But before we get to that, Oleg, you're outside. What would you like to do?
I'm going to look back in, do a quadruple take between the bell and Master Brickithon. Master Brickithon, do I hit the bell? And I'm just going to plead really quickly before I make my move.
Yes, for the love of Pete, ring the stupid bell.
And I'm going to...
Oh, that's such Scoutmaster energy.
And I'm going to take 3 steps back and then jump in the air sideways and hit the bell with my head.
All right. So, because
Because
you're trying to scramble, is that why?
that's exactly it. Scramble my brains.
All right, that works for me.
Plus, the image of the Lego man hitting it just completely sideways, it works for me.
You're like the polar opposite of the dinosaur in Toy Story 2.
So what kind of devil's bargain? What kind of deal with the darkness?
Oh boy.
I'll say you can get one good ring off on this bell, but you're going to break it off of its supports, and you and the bell are going to go flying into the lake.
I will... Wait, that happens no matter what.
That is correct.
I keep forgetting that it's not like if I roll badly that happens, it's just like that happens. My buddy's a pirate, he'll save me. Okay,
Yeah.
let's get this good ring off.
All right, one more d6.
Absolutely worth it. Because I rolled a 1, a 3, and a 6.
There we go.
That lake is crazy, though. If you remember from our first sessions, there's like a lake
yeah, there's
monster.
a kraken in it for sure.
There's a kraken. There's like ships,
Yeah.
submarines.
There's a whale and a giant squid battling it out there.
Oh, yeah.
But it's nighttime, so I'm sure they're all asleep, so I'm okay.
Yeah, so what I reckon is going to happen here, you smash into it with your head, and it goes spinning all the way around multiple times, and it breaks out of the yoke that's holding it. Because you think of like the image of the Liberty Bell, it's the bell and there's the wooden yoke on top of it. You break it out of the yoke, it goes spinning up into the air, and then you are like standing where the bell used to be, and it comes clanging down on top of you, and then it bounces up. You are now inside of the bell, and it starts spinning, lands on the hill leading down into the lake right on the rim, and it starts just rolling, you inside of the bell until it finally splashes down into the lake. What do you think is the first thing that you see under the water when you get there?
I imagine I see the Kraken taking his midnight nap right there near the shore.
It's midnight nap.
I see that through the fresh crack in the Liberty Bell.
You see the Kraken through the crack. Okay.
Yep.
So you have restored the Liberty Bell in some ways.
It's like it never happened.
So what did the ring do?
Yeah, hopefully all of that clatter and commotion did something to those witches.
Yeah, you hear the pealing of the bell reverberating throughout the entire camp, and off at the campfire bowl, you see the replacement Hamlet is in the middle of his soliloquy, just doing an absolutely terrible job, and then this pealing of the bell goes out, and the director just absolutely loses it at that point. He starts shouting from back in the tech booth, and everybody in the entire crowd just like turns back and looks up at him like, what the heck is going on? But what's happening in the commissary, as that bell peals out clear and true, you can see up in that tornado, like as the witches are getting closer to you, Master Brickithon, you can see their faces spinning by one after the other. And one of them is kind of like leering out towards you, cackling in your face. And as the bell rings out, it reverberates across. And like as the sonic wave of it passes over the witch, you see it dissolve into smoke. And then the smoke gets sucked back down into the cauldron. And there are only 2 witches left now.
Oh, good. Oleg, that worked really well. Do it again. He's gone.
So yeah, full success. That's going to be 2 more ticks on the 8 clock. There's only 2 ticks left, 1 for each witch. Now, Pilfer, this is hopefully enough time for you to sort of get yourself settled.
Yeah, I have an idea. How does one define a bell?
Well, shall we ask the dictionary?
Yes. What is a bell? Because I could argue that a pot could be a bell, so let's see what the dictionary says.
Yeah, pardon me while I head to merriam-webster.com real quick and search bell.
Hollow object typically made of metal and having the shape of a deep inverted cup widening at the lip that sounds a clear musical note when struck.
Sounds like a pot.
And the Merriam-Webster definition is even more generous. It's just a hollow metallic device that gives off reverberating sound when struck.
Oh, I shouldn't have read mine. Yeah, we're taking that one. Oxford. Who made them so special? Who cares about Oxford? Merriam-Webster, America all the way. I think Oxford's British. I don't care. I'm going to take the pot off of my head. I'm blinded, so I'm just going to try and sort of hold it up in front of me and then punch it with my hook hand in the side.
A hook hand.
Ring-a-ding-ding.
Perfect.
My hand comes off the bottom and it goes flying through the air, letting out a ring of metal from my hook colliding with the side.
All right, a nice big punch. That sounds...
Wreck, maybe?
That's kind of what I'm thinking, yeah.
Okay.
You got 1 die in wreck.
Please have my first good roll of the night. 6!
Yeah!
Finally, in the moment when it matters most. So the pot that you had grabbed to scoop up scoops, it's like this real nice, all-clad, 3-layer ply steel, just very, very thick and resonant. What do you think the effect looks like as you ring the bell on this pot here?
I would imagine the tornado sort of falters almost a little bit, and the cauldron of soup kind of for a second hits the ground and then kind of keeps going. And Master Brickithon would hopefully see another witch missing, maybe?
Yes. In fact, with your full success on this, that is 2 more ticks on the 8 clock. So I think we'll make this kind of a layup here almost. You kind of set it up towards Master Brickithon. One of the witches disappears with this second toll. And Master Brickithon, you look up, you see the pot flying towards you, the one that Pilfer had just punched with the hook hand, sent it exactly in your direction, spiraling through the air. All you need to do is spike it. What do you do?
I reach over and grab a ginormous wooden ladle. No, sorry, a ginormous metal ladle.
Nice.
From the counter. Just like baseball back in the day. And I will just swing that ladle right at the pot to hit it one more time and send it careening into the middle of the witches.
Yeah, with that final strike, the sound of it reverberating out through the campsite. Once again, the director over at the Campfire Bowl is going off his rocker with all of these interruptions to his perfect night. But yeah, it goes careening through the tornado, through the witches, and you can see all of their arcane energy crackling and fizzling out, getting sucked back down into this pot of borscht, until finally it lands, kind of settles down, and there's a whole bunch of borscht splattered all over the walls, but you peer down into this pot from above, and there's still some soup in there, and you can see looking up at you, kind of in the bubbles, are 3 very angry faces, trying to yell at you, but without enough power to actually escape their prison.
I was going to taste some, but I think better of that now.
I think you'd be wise to hold your tongue. Can someone help me get scoops out of me eyes?
I'm going to grab the end of Taffy Scoops and just shake him once, one good solid shake like a rug. And I'm hoping that just whoosh, whips him right back into normal shape.
Whips him into shape. I love it.
Yeah, you straighten him right out, and he goes stiff as a board and just kind of lands flat on his back. Good job, guys. Really good job. Let me get you some extra big boppers for your own personal campfire ceremony tonight.
Oh, heck yeah.
I imagine you're probably not interested in watching any terrible Shakespeare tonight.
We've gotten enough terrible Shakespeare for one night.
Thank you for your assistance, Scoops. Oleg, where did you go?
Yeah,
I've just got back to the shore and I'm trying to lug the Liberty Bell up the shore back to its mooring, basically. I'm down by water. Please, the bell is heavy. Also, the Kraken might wake up from his midnight nap.
He'd be very grumpy if you woke him up from that.
I just looked it up, and the Liberty Bell weighs approximately 2,080 pounds.
Yeah, I'm from Eastern Europe. That's just my warm-up set.
That's true. That's nothing.
You hold that over your shoulders while you're doing your Bulgarian split squats.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just my warm-up. Is warm-up. In Eastern Europe is warm-up. Plus, pounds, I do not understand. Kilograms.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, I will using one hand. Mind you, my body, I only have like 2 marks in it, but it's a mentality thing.
Yeah.
So I just put the bell back where it goes.
Mind over matter.
Exactly.
Should we clean up the commissary or just sneak back to camp?
Excuse me. A builder is tidy. I'm sure that's one of the things a builder is.
Probably falls under clean.
Pilfer, I am disappointed in you. Surely you have learned more about what it means to be a good and honest builder in the past week. Get cleaning. Ship shape. That's how we need this place.
He said ship shape. Shape of a ship. You can do it, Pilfer. And I will pull out a mop from the Fantasia set from 1997.
Hey Ned, if I just pretend to clean while I listen to Mighty Mighty Boss Tones on my iPod, does that count as acting in the interest of the void?
I mean, I think anytime you're listening to ska, you're acting in the interest of the void.
I'll clean begrudgingly. Pirates don't clean.
Now, I will give you an opportunity to act in the interest of the void.
Okay.
And you can decide whether you want to do, to get rid of this condition, you just have to do it at some point. Whether it's in this particular moment or not is up to you. But you're actually cleaning, you're grabbing the mop, you're swabbing. You've got Giles over there swabbing as well.
Oh, yeah, pirates swab the deck. I'm used to cleaning.
Yeah.
Yeah, you pass by the pot of borscht that has the 3 witches trapped inside, and you give a little peer inside of it, and you can see bubbling up to the top is what appears to be a little glass bottle that's been stoppered up. And looking inside, you can see a bunch of minifigs wearing tech blacks, and they're like banging against the walls of this glass bottle.
Oh my gosh.
What?
Oh, so many things I could do.
You're not going to abandon the techies. They make the whole thing happen.
Oh, abandoned. I was thinking I'd break the glass.
What?
I didn't know if that'd free them or just drown them. I will. I'll pick up the glass, but I won't do anything with it yet. I'll just put it in my pocket for now.
What? You're keeping them in limbo torment?
You might say he's acting in the interest of the void.
I might say that.
I mean, yeah, I think it could be good for some study back at our lab.
You said they were banging on the glass, right?
Yeah, from the inside.
Like they're alive.
Yeah, they're alive. They're shrunk down inside of this little glass prison.
Oh, they're banging on the glass. I wrap it in a handkerchief.
Okay.
At that point, I've got to be in the interest of the void. I'm muffling their screams for help.
Yep. I would say that you've sufficiently acted in the interest of the void that you can get rid of your condition there.
Now I've just got to leave them sufficiently long enough that it's highly immoral, or else Ned might make me take the condition back if I let him out too quick.
I don't know. You've already made some pretty immoral decisions here.
I mean, I'm a pirate, c'est la vie.
So yeah, with the commissary all cleaned up, I reckon it's time to get into our Fallout phase.
I love Fallout.
New Vegas.
The first thing we do in Fallout is we generate alarm. For our baseline, would we say this was definitely not contained standard exposure because you rang a bell so loud that it rang throughout the entire camp. So would we say that was loud and chaotic high exposure or wild devastating exposure?
I would go with the loud.
We cleaned up after.
Yeah.
It was one bell ring, you know? It was probably just the people in the audience, honestly, were probably just like, this is an amateur production. Someone missed their cue and rang a bell when they weren't supposed to.
Okay, so we're going to go with loud and chaotic, I think. So we'll go with 4 alarm for that we're going to mark. And we can get up to a total of 8 alarm before we start converting that into panic. So we don't have any panic yet. But now we're going to go to gathering strings. I get to take 1 string for each level of panic the park has marked, in addition to any of the strings gained during the hunt. You don't have any panic, so I don't get any strings for that. So the only string I have so far is 1 for Master Brickithon.
When did you get that string?
When you used your monstrous ability to see where Shakespeare was,
That's
that
right.
was the consequence that you chose.
Okay.
Mark my words. You will never get a string on me this entire campaign. I shall make it my goal.
Yep, just like how Thomas Ryan only ever did Devil's Bargains for the entirety of Blades in the Dao Fei and never once changed his mind.
I guess I shouldn't say that, though, because if we get even 1 panic, we all get strings, don't we?
Yeah.
Now, I get to take 1 string for each level of panic you have marked. If you have 1 level of panic, that's only 1 string for the entire group, but that is a string that I can spend on anybody.
Yeah, that's a bad promise. I'm not going to be able to keep that.
We shall see. All right, now we get to Hope and Bond. So you each earn hope during a hunt by going for broke, which we saw a couple times. But then during Fallout, we review the triggers below and mark 1 hope for each if it happened at all. So, did we embody our background or drive?
My drive is I will bring together instead of pull apart, and I literally fixed the Liberty Bell. What's more bringing together than that?
Yeah, it only lasted for a little bit, but you did do it at one point.
But I did it.
All right.
My drive is I will learn how to protect those around me perfectly, and I think I succeeded in protecting some people tonight.
I think you did.
Ned, does activating my That's So Pilfer ability count towards I will uncover the mysteries of my precognition curse, which is my drive?
You're spending more time involved with it, getting a little bit closer to the source. You know what? I'll say yes.
So that's 1 hope.
Yep, everybody can mark 1 hope for that. And then moving on to our beliefs. As you'll remember, each of us has a belief about the Pact or one of the other hunters, and then a belief about the world or about the supernatural. So, did you express your beliefs, or were your beliefs tested or changed?
I specifically asked Master Brickithon what to do because he always knows what to do.
There you go. So you can mark 1 hope for that.
Ring the stupid bell.
I don't think I did. I gotta be honest. I gotta be an honest player here. My beliefs are that Oleg's a wizard, and his technology is a mystery, and that there's no problem you can't build your way out of, and I didn't build anything during that fight. I think I have to sit that one out.
Fair enough.
My beliefs are, my personal belief is Pilfer's piratical past will promptly perturb us. And presumably, I don't know that he just took some innocents into his pocket and muffled their cries for help, but he did do it. So, maybe.
Has it promptly perturbed you?
I mean, not that I know, but
It will.
it will.
It will promptly perturb us.
And then there is something else that manipulates the bricks, is my other belief. And I think, we just saw some spooky stuff. We just saw stuff from beyond our regular world. I think that might count. Maybe.
Yeah, I'll give you that if you want.
All right. The 2 of those combined, I'll turn into 1 point.
And then, did you portray your relationship to the Pact or the people of Camp Studston?
Our pact is on my honor. I will do my best to do my duty to brick and builder. Okay. We were physically built, mentally built. I'll tell you what, some of us weren't morally built.
We don't know about that yet.
I have a curse on my brain. I see the future, but it comes at a cost.
By the end of this campaign, you'll see I'm a victim.
I'd say we lived up to that.
We were also helping other minifigs at all times.
We were definitely helping other minifigs.
You can say what you will about my, kidnapping a few techs, but I did try to help Scoops. So, give and take.
Yeah, the selective nature of choosing who you help definitely falls under helping other minifigs at all times.
I'm a bad scout.
Now this is, you portrayed your relationship to the Pact or to the people of Camp Studston. So you also have your Pact promise that you will always build each other up.
We definitely supported each other through that fight. You hit that pot just perfectly so Master Brickithon could land that finishing blow.
And you started it all with the bell.
We are a troop built on 4x2s. Cheers to us.
Yeah, I say we get that one.
Okay. And then each playbook has its own hope trigger. So let's start with Oleg. Did you address a challenge with courage or empathy?
I mean, anytime you go on stage, that's just an act of courage.
He did fill in for a missing actor.
Mhm.
That's very empathetic.
Going in last minute like that.
Okay, go ahead and mark that. Pilfer, did you address a challenge with deception or charm?
Yeah, I had to convince some people and charm some people. I had to give gifts to those, the three witch actors
Mhm.
and ask about if Shakespeare was weird.
You did a lot of charming and a lot of deceit.
Okay, you can go ahead and mark for that. And then Master Brickithon, did you address a challenge with cleverness or knowledge?
I think so. I think we took out those witches with the common knowledge of salt
Yes.
and with the new knowledge from Oleg of bells.
Yeah, putting that all together, go for it. So that is the individuals marking hope, and now we get to mark bond for the pact as a whole. So, did you successfully complete the hunt?
What does successfully mean? Because we struggled.
Well, did you hurt, kill, or deal with the threat?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes, we did.
eventually.
All right, so you completed the hunt. Did you get in over your heads?
Yes.
Yeah,
I was over my head in scoops.
I was over my head in Bell.
Yeah, in a lake. Master Brickithon was over his head in tornado.
It's true. Very true. All right. Did you express or challenge your pact's reputation or promise?
You gotta admit, we did get it done.
You did get it done.
We get stuff done.
And boy, did we barely manage that.
Yep, you did make a complete mess of the commissary, and there are a whole bunch of people who are still missing, but you got stuff done.
People are missing. The commissary's a mess. We destroyed a national landmark that was apparently on loan to the camp. And so I think that is the definition of, but you gotta admit,
To get things done.
they get stuff done.
You gotta admit, there aren't witches making people disappear anymore.
Definitely.
All right. And then finally, did the pact struggle due to inner conflict or interpersonal drama?
I shot
You
someone
shot
in the
me
leg.
in the butt.
So that was definitely our most dramatic moment. Other than that, we actually got along pretty well, but I did shoot someone in the butt.
Okay, so that is going to finish up our Fallout, and then at the beginning of our next session, we're going to get into downtime. You just earned hope, you just earned bond, and when we get into downtime, you can spend those hope and bond points on some of your downtime beats. And we will get into that with our next session, but for now, we have one hunt down, we have one threat contained, so I think that is where we're going to pick up next time.
Nice.
I'm sorry, but I just kept thinking of the first heist we did in Blades in the Dauphin and how well it went compared to our first hunt in this game.
And now for something completely different.
Yeah, if you will recall, the tables turned pretty quickly on you from your first job to your second job in Blades in the Dauphin, so one can only hope.
Yeah, our next one's gonna go great, guys.
Yeah.
It's going to be perfect. It's going to be so smooth.
We are now seasoned professionals.
Well, everybody, thanks for listening to Improv Tabletop. We'll be back next time with more adventures in the world of the Tension Builders. If you want more, go ahead and subscribe, maybe even give us a review. We would be as happy as a historian who is going to look at the Liberty Bell and be like, yep, still broken. Good, there we go. If you would give us a review on the podcatcher of your choice. We're also all over social media that isn't being used, so send us an email at improvtabletop@gmail.com if you want to get in touch with us. With that, let's go ahead and shout out our next batch of Sticker Club patrons.
Yeah.
And the people we're shouting out this week are Peter Ohms, Sammy Ryan, and the newest member of the Sticker Club, Megan Apol.
Hey, welcome.
Welcome to the Sticker Club.
Don't know if that's how you pronounce that name, but that's what we're going with. These three folks here.
They're not the witches. They can't be the witches.
They're the trapped techies.
Oh no, are they the trap technicians?
No, we should be kind to our patrons. I think these three patrons are the people who are in charge of getting historical landmarks on loan for the camp. So, I mean, these are the people who got the Liberty Bell here. They're the people who work with Shakespeare every year when he deconstructs the Globe Theatre in England and brings it here and reconstructs it for the annual Shakespeare Festival.
Classic.
So, you folks, you got connections.
So we're kind of not kind to them because we're like wrecking all their work, but we are kind to them because they're very good at their jobs.
They are. Everybody, name one other cool landmark that is here at the camp because of the work that these patrons have done.
Mount Rushmore. It's here.
Okay.
The
USS Constitution. Is that what it's called?
The battleship?
Yeah, it's in the lake.
All right.
The Apollo shuttle.
Cool.
Nice. On loan from the Air and Space Museum. I'm going to go with the Taj Mahal.
Yeah, great
goodness.
pull.
Wow.
Okay, so the Taj Mahal, that is a crypt. Did we bring the remains with it?
You gotta.
Or
It's only temporary. It'll be back. It'll be back eventually.
I feel like that's going to come back to bite us very soon. Our next episode, next hunt is going to be Unquiet Dead from the Taj Mahal.
it is a tomb we just moved, so
Yeah.
that's probably not good.
It'll be back. It'll be back before we know it. Well, we will have more Sticker Club patrons to shout out next time, and if you, dear listener, want to join their ranks, consider joining our Patreon at patreon.com/improvtabletop, where you can also get things like Discord access, biannual sticker packs, and more, such as our current ongoing patron-exclusive campaign, Serpent Sea Sagas.
Very fun.
Yes, this first portion that we're going through is a little bit spooky, but we have... I don't know if we've formally announced at this point what kind of the plan for the future is, but we're going to have another group of adventurers popping in at some point to go on a different adventure. It's going to be in the next couple months or so it's going to be a bit, but keep your eyes out for that. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and do a round of plugs. Caleb, would you take that this time around?
Absolutely. We have a sister podcast. It is a D&D 5e actual play podcast called I Cast Fireball. We also have a cool partnership with FanRoll Dice. If you need some new dice, head on over to their website, fanrolldice.com, use the code VroomVroomFifi, and you can get a discount. Also, speaking of VroomVroomFifi, if you have not yet listened to our Avatar Legends one-shots first, and then the campaigns that have come after that, go do that, because those are really good. Start with the library heist.
Vroom vroom fifi indeed.
Let's see, anything else?
You want to reignite a 5-year-old feud you had with me? Should we start feuding again? I mean,
We should.
I don't think most feuds start by politely asking if you would like to feud, but
I think we should, though. I'm feeling I've got time.
It's the summer break.
summer vacation, I could feud.
It's the summer break. I've got plenty of time in my schedule to feud.
And so does Evan. You're on summer break too, right?
Yeah, I mean, work gets slower at a university in the summer. I could have some feuding time.
Yeah. So this feud, last time, for those of you following, Evan usually holds the corner of the arena for the plug section of performance art, and I decided to encroach on that, and he got mad. We weren't even in the same campaigns at the time, so we were sending cryptic messages back and forth in our own campaigns. It was great. We need some more of that.
You could pick someone who's not in this campaign that we could all just rag on, and then they won't get a chance to respond until they're back on the podcast.
That's true.
Or someone in Serpent Sea. Who's all in Serpent Sea? Who can we rag on?
Me.
Christian, Connor, Mikey, Ems.
Oh, Connor's a punk.
Yeah, jump on Connor.
Connor really is a punk, though. If you guys haven't met him, don't. Not worth it. Avoid at all costs, please.
That's our plug, is avoid Connor.
Yeah, that's the plug. Just really, I mean,
Get that guy.
not funny,
Not funny.
not hilarious at all. Brimpus Chimpus is not one of my favorite characters ever to come into existence.
He's probably smelly, too.
Yeah.
He plays a lot of video games, and people who play lots of video games are smelly.
Yeah, I can speak from experience. I play a lot of video games.
And you were also his roommate. So that was a stinky apartment.
Yeah, we both stank.
Yeah, with Connor, it's kind of like, you know how when you read The King in Yellow, the next thing you know, you are implacably followed by Hostward, the King in Yellow himself. And it's kind of like a sentence to never again live a sane or normal life. That's kind of like meeting Connor Wood. Anyway. Well, everybody, thanks for joining us here in the world of The Tension Builders. I'm Ned Wilcock, your host and GM, and I've been joined by...
Caleb Anderton, the Salty Scoutmaster.
Christian Randall, I gotta work on that accent.
And Evan Peterson, if Connor Wood has no haters, then I am dead.
Much love and stuff, everybody. We'll catch you next time on Improv Tabletop.
Wait,
we actually got along pretty well, but I did shoot someone in the butt.
I forget, did you do that on purpose? Or did it just ricocheted, right?
It was a ricochet.
But it's still.
He was it caused some drama. He wasn't happy with me.
Yeah.
I was not happy to be shot in the butt.
I can't imagine why not.
It was reckless, poor trigger discipline. Poor Tigger discipline.
Poor Tigger discipline. You don't say.
Oh man.
And he was very upset with me. So you know what? That was some inner conflict.
Tigger is the range master.